All right, good day. My name is Steven here at Traveland. I will be doing your demonstration on your Jayco J-Flight 26BH, going over some of the features, how things work on this unit. On our first stop here, we have your pass-through storage compartment here. It goes right on through to the other side. You have these clips here on the side to hold your compartment door open. And inside here, first we have your 20-foot sewer hose. This is prepped basically just for the trailer right now. You will need to get the elbow, for most sandy dumps require the connection to go into the ground. And we have two crank handles here. The first big one here are for your stabilizers on the bottom. When you're lowering your stabilizers, you want to just lower them down enough that the trailer just comes up off the ground. You know it's on the ground nice and secure. And then the little small one here is for your power tongue jack. I'll show you where this goes in a minute. And your trailer is 30 amp. So we give you this park adapter, which takes the 30 amp down to 110, so you can plug it in at home. The one thing with this, if you are plugging in using this at home, try to avoid turning the air conditioner on or some of the high-end items because you might pop a breaker. But this is just for storage. All right. Just be mindful of these storage compartment clips. I like to call them cheap cheaps because they will break, but they're really inexpensive to replace. Take the screws out, put them back on. And on your trailer, you'll notice that you got the bubble levels. So this is a good way to level your trailer out. It makes life a lot easier. Okay. And at the front here, you have your two 30-pound propane tanks. They are full. Right now, we have the regulator here. As you see, the handle is pointing towards this tank. So basically, we're drawing off of this tank right now. Simple fact is just switching it over to this side. We'll draw from this tank. Straight down is completely off. If you wanted to, you could have both tanks open. So whatever way that the handle is facing, it would draw off that tank first. When this one runs empty, it will automatically draw from here. I would recommend leave one tank closed. That way there, when you run out, you know you still have a full tank to go on your trailer. Also equipped on your trailer, you have two deep cycle 6-volt batteries. There's no true way of gauging how long these batteries will last. Typically, two 6 volts will probably get you about 7 to 10 days of power. All depends on how you're running the system inside the trailer. And just back here, you have a 30 amp fuse, which is basically the power for the tongue jack. So if your jack ever fails, you can use your manual crank inside here, just popping this rubber cap off and putting that little small crank handle in there, and you can manually lower and raise the tongue jack there. But definitely want to keep some extra fuses on hand so you don't have to worry about that. Now on your front jack here, you have the two switches. Basically, the one on the left is for your LED light here. And then you have your retraction and extension switch here. Now, the normal sound of the jack is what you hear now. If you exceed the limit as far as retraction and extension, you might hear a grinding. Chances are you might pop that fuse that I just showed you in the back there. So just be mindful of the noise. But like I said, with the bubble levels, you will know when your trailer's at that right limit. Basically, this is your propane tank cover. Always recommend keep the knobs trailer side so it doesn't ever fly away. And also on the bottom, you have these little eyelets here. So this is designed on both sides. You can put a bungee cord on that will wrap right under the propane tank, keeping it nice and secure on the trailer. And then you have another bright LED light here for nighttime hookup. It is really bright even in the sunlight here, as you can see. All right. Other side, again, it's just the other side of your pass-through. And inside the compartment here on the wall, the front, you do have a battery disconnect. So in the event of you storing the unit during the winter, you can just turn that switch into the off position, and that will kill any draw on the battery, securing that you will have power when the season picks up again. And on the side here is all your trailer information with your name and the make and model and stock of the unit. But all the key information here, I would definitely recommend taking a picture of this, keep it on close to your phone, because over time these will fade or weather will make it peel and crack off, and it's good to have it handy. Now, here we have your furnace exhaust, okay? Your furnace is made by Atwood. They put hot on there 4 times to let you know the heat that comes out of there is pretty intense, so be mindful of little kids, pets, or anything you're putting next to the trailer. It has been known to melt power cords. And then here, this is your gravity fill. So you can actually fill your freshwater tank with, if you had a jug or a hose. I would definitely recommend getting a hose extension because hoses do not fit in here. You get the hose extension, you can just rest it there and let it fill up. And then right to the left there, you see there's a little vent. That is the overflow. So as the tank starts to fill up, water might spill out of there, let you know your tank is completely full. But inside there's a monitor panel, which I'll show you that, and we'll let you know what your levels are in all your tanks. And as you see with the sticker there, the low point drain, this is actually a way to drain your freshwater tank. Right now it's in the closed position. You just turn it to the right, and you can drain your water that way. You've probably seen trailers going on the highway with the water pouring out. That's basically a way you can save time to drain your freshwater tanks. And actually, you have two valves. So I believe with this unit here, the tank is split in the middle. So you have, in a sense, two tanks that you can utilize, but that's draining both of them out. And with your tires, you denoted by the green caps that you have on there. Your tires are filled with nitrogen. It's really good. Most places are now starting to supply the nitrogen. It's good on the wear and tear on the tires and weather change. But common, it doesn't hurt if you put regular air in there in the tires. But like I said, I know a few places around now are starting to have nitrogen. Now this connection here, this is your city water connection. Some campsites, you know, they have full water hookup. This is where you're going to hook up. This will bypass the freshwater tank. So we'll go straight to the amenities inside the trailer. Recommended you get a water pressure reducer because most campsites have high pressure. This city connection is only designed to take 45, maximum 50 PSIs in this because the line is not that strong to take that high pressure. Definitely recommend a pressure reducer. Now at the top, you have your range hood vent. When you're cooking, you have the fan on in the inside. You want to open this up so that it vents all the smells out of the trailer. When in travel, you want to snap these in. So you want to push out from the edge and roll your hands in, snaps into place. So you don't have that flapping around when you're driving. And just to open it, just simple 2 thumbs and it's open. All right, this next stop here is your refrigerator. This fridge is a 2-way, so it does run on gas and electricity. Key thing to note is this condensation hose, you want to make sure it's always in this basket and that plug is in there so you're not having any bugs crawling up into your fridge. But this is never going to fill. It probably just damp every once in a while, but the amount of heat that this generates to the bit of condensation, you're never going to have to worry about that filling up. One thing you want to make sure that you kind of keep this as clean and dry as possible. When washing it, you want to just be mindful not to saturate this too much because your electricals are here and this is your power supply. Okay. In the event when you're camping, if you're doing the dry camping and running on gas, you want to make sure that you start your stove, get the propane flowing, because your fridge, sometimes if the gas is not flowing, it might try to start and then stop. Yeah. So you have your power supply here. In the event that the gas is not flowing through the trailer, if you are dry camping, this will try to start and then stop. If you notice that it's not checking in or the check light is on, just unplug this for a couple of seconds, plug it back in. It should reset it and get your gas flowing. One little tip, it's been known that wasps like to find their way inside the back of the fridge because of the moisture and the heat. This is your vent. I would recommend maybe get some screening, cover this up. That way you have the ventilation coming out and not having to open this up and have a nest sitting in there as a surprise. So definitely a good little tip there. And just make sure at all times that snaps in and you're locking the bolts in so that's not flying away. As you see, your power cord, this is actually 30 feet long. It's actually going to the other side. This little compartment there, that little trap door, so you can snap that into place. But when you are hand feeding this back in, feed it in there, you want to make sure that slides down and then snap it closed, keeping your power cord nice and safe and secure. All right, here you have your outside shower, hot and cold taps. It does work with the pump. So it just pretty much loops around the handles there. And then you can just stick it there for mounting, spraying off the pets, the kids, or whatever, or have some water fights. But that's a nice little handy thing to have on the outside for you. Okay. And this tap, this is your black tank flush. So when you are doing your sandy dump here, after you do your valves, because you're always going to do the black tank first, and then you're going to pull the gray, which basically washes the line out. Then you want to hook a hose up to here. Unlike the city water where you need to reduce the pressure reducer, this you don't need. It's designed to take high pressure. So for obvious reasons, you want that water getting in there and cleaning out the tank and washing it out here. Now, right now the valves are closed. Just to open them, it's just a simple pull like that for the black and then the gray. And just always make sure your sewer cap's on there nice and secure because you don't need anything pouring out while you're driving. And your trailer is also equipped with a coaxial cable going into the trailer, feeding the bedroom and the living room. Just plug in here. I'll show you inside that you have to turn something off before you hook up the cable. But that's just a nice convenient thing there. And as you see, you have an extra hose with this one. So this bumper houses your sewer hoses because after you do your sandy dump, you don't want to stick it anywhere else except in your bumper here. And this goes the full length of the bumper. Most times you can get two 20-foot hoses in this. But it's just simple fact, just slide it in there and then snap your cap on. Just like that. And it's vented so it will dry and air out there. You have your spare tire also filled with nitrogen. Now you have your barbecue set up here. Okay. Now this is basically for your barbecue tools. The propane connection comes off the regulator here, right into the underside of the bumper. It's a quick connect, so you just have to push in, snap the hose in, and then turn the gas on. And that's just the cap, dust cap, to keep it nice and clean in there for you. Now dismantling this, you basically just slide that off there. Take your locking pin out. Get a little oil. And just lock that into position. And that's not going anywhere. You have your ladder to access on the roof there. The ladder is reinforced into the trailer, so feel free to climb up there. Just when you're on the roof, with the proper footing, make sure you don't walk around the vents or the antennas where the silicone is. You don't want to weaken that, but you do want to get up there and check your seals every once in a while, make sure everything's intact. Now on this side here, we do have your Atwood water heater. This unit is actually a 6-gallon water heater. It does run on gas and propane as well. Key thing to know is the make and the model. It's very key in the RV world because there are many different types of water heaters. So that's all we would need to know to replace anything in here. Another thing as well, the control board. This is pretty much your sparker here, so no more lighting. You want to be mindful not to get that wet because they do run pretty expensive. So just be mindful. Now, just like the fridge, basically too, you want to keep this as clean and dry as possible. Here is your drain plug. When you are draining it after the season, definitely want to make sure it's cool, release the pressure, and then you can undo the cap and let the water drain out. Again, like I said, keep it clean and dry. You shouldn't have any problems with this Atwood water heater. They are really reliable. And when closing it, you just want to make sure that clip is down. You can also get a counter pin or something just to secure it. Just make sure that it doesn't pop open. But the spring is pretty strong in there, so you shouldn't have any real issues with that. Now inside here, you have a bit of storage, which is also accessible from the bottom bunk. You have your outside fridge. This fridge, unlike the one inside, only works when you're plugged in or hooked up to a generator. And it stays on one temperature. There's no temperature setting, but it does get pretty cold. Now, inside this compartment here, at the far corner, there are your bypass valves right there in the corner. You see the red line there? That is the line coming into the water heater. There's another bypass right behind it. You would have to kind of get in there. You can see there's a shutoff valve there. You definitely want to close that when you are winterizing it. If you do it your own, because you do not want antifreeze getting inside the water heater. It would not be a good thing. Same little catch here for this door. Has the 2 thumb latches with the key lock as well. Now, as you see right now, I have your awning fully extended. Now, one thing to know that your awning is basically a sunshade. So like a perfect day like today, give you some great shading. You can actually adjust the pitch on this simply just by pulling that down. So if there is light rain, you can adjust it so you can have the rain running off the back end of the trailer here. But if the rain gets pretty heavy or the winds pick up, you definitely want to pull this in You don't necessarily have to put the arm straight. I always do it anyway. Just to put it straight, you can roll this back in, okay? Now, you can bring the both arms down. If the sun is like kind of right there, you want to just get some more shading, you can pull them both down. It comes down to about right here. And like I said, but the winds pick up, definitely pull it in because it's like a parachute. You don't need the wind coming here and pulling your awning to the other side of the trailer. And as you see, you got the LED light here as well. And on the roller itself, there is a channel that runs the length of the roller. It's an opening here, and it runs the whole length of the awning. So you could get some sunscreen that to hang up in there or extra lighting if you see fit. The weight limit on this is it's pretty good. You don't want to hang something too heavy. I've seen some units, people had plants, stuff up there. It's not too bad, but you don't want anybody swinging on the roller. But really strong, take care of it. Definitely use vinyl cleaner to clean this because you don't want to use bleach because it's white, but it will stain the vinyl. But definitely a good vinyl cleaner. Shouldn't have any problems with this. And at the end of the roller, the make and model of this awning. Again, key in the RV world, make and model is what we need. Telling us that the make of your trailer doesn't help. So make a note of that sticker there. It's a Solera awning. That's what we need to replace. And as well, on the ends of the roller, you have your outside speakers. So you have inside and outside. So if you wanted to, you could play both at the same time, or you can have just the inside or just the outside. It's just one master control, so whatever level is inside is as well as on the outside. So what I'm going to do now is just roll this in here for you. Another thing to note as well, there is no stopping point when you are extending this. So if you kept pressing out, it's going to extend and then start to roll back on itself. But once you see the little weather flap come down and that Solera sticker, that's as far as you want to go. It's really nice having these power awnings. Gone are the days of manual and setting it all up. It does it all for you by just a flick of a switch. When it's done, that's it right there. You don't need to secure this anyway. It's locked in position. Some people still get these awning clips that you can kind of snap on here to hold it into place, but you shouldn't really need this with the power awning. And actually, you got a little couple outlets here for outside hookups or whatever you see fits. Most of your outlets on this will only work when you are plugged in. Now, your steps here, simple fold up, bottom first, then you lift, and it sits in there just like that. You're not going to worry about this popping out when you're driving, unless you're going on the highway about 100 and take a little off ramp, maybe, but you shouldn't have any problems with this. It's weighted just right that it's not coming out anywhere. And just simple fact to lift, and then flip down, and there you go. And now your door, it does have a little catch on the back here to lock it into place because it is free swinging. So just make sure you have it latched when you have it open. And another couple outlets here for you. Now, one neat thing about the door here, you have a screen that you can separate just by pulling it that way. And it snaps into place like that. I would recommend if you have any pets, maybe get a little bar here because, you know, dogs like to bolt. You don't want them flying through the screen here. But as easy as that comes apart, snaps right back into place. And on the door here, you have your deadbolt, you have your handle release, and when closing it, this is where you want to pull the door to close. Okay? Well, we're going to head inside now. Okay. So if you notice here, the lower right of the door, makes your one-time use fire extinguisher. It's good for 5 years. That is just perfect enough that it sits by the door. You have a bit of storage here. If you want to get another bigger fire extinguisher, feel free. But up here is all the switches. That personally I always use the awning switch. Okay. This first switch here controls the lights above the sink. This one here is the awning LED light strip on the awning outside. And the second switch are your ceiling lights. Now, every other light that's on now, basically under the counter and this one above the dinette, has its own button. But when you have the ceiling lights on, say you didn't want them all on, they have a little button in the center. You just click them off and just leave on what you desire, just like that. And these are all LED lights, so that's really good on your drain of the battery if you are dry camping. At the top, you have your monitor panel. This basically tells you your battery levels, your fresh, black, and gray tanks. So battery is reading full because we are plugged in, but the batteries are charged. You have your fresh tank there, your black, and your gray. With the black tank, when you reach about 2/3, it's probably a good time to do the sandy flush because you don't want the smells coming up. But it doesn't hurt if you go past it, you know. The gray, like I said, whatever, when you do the sanding up, whatever gray is in there, use that to wash out the line. The first orange switch here is your water pump. When you are dry camping, use this as you need it because the actual pump primes really fast. So once you're done doing dishes, shower, whatever, turn it off to serve your battery power. And then your two switches for the water heater, gas and electric. And there's a little fault line there, so if the propane's not flowing, that will light up and let you know there's no gas. Some people turn them both on when you're plugged in, heats up the water twice as fast, and then you could turn the gas off and just leave it on electricity and save the gas for cooking. And yeah, that's the monitor panel there. Just make sure that's closed and secure. Now over here, you have another light switch here. This actually controls the LED light that's under the counter here. Okay, nice accent lighting. And a GFCI outlet here. This is tied in with the breaker. Most times this, if there was a surge, sometimes this would trip first. But just like home, see the red light, just hit the reset button. Okay. Now you have a paper towel holder there. And in the kitchen, you have tension blinds on all the other windows, but your kitchen has your standard Venetian because it's next to the stove. You don't need any cloth catching fire, trapping grease or dirt or whatever. But just loop that up there like that. And all your windows have this simple little twist crank handle there. Extend the windows, get some fresh air flowing. And then you got your double sink here with your sink covers. A good tip as well, you want to make sure you keep these strainers face down like that so you don't have any mishaps when traveling if the tap is left on. I'm actually going to turn the pump on really quick here. So as you hear that little vibrating, that's your pump. The little button at the top here changes it from steam to spray. Just like that, simple push of a button, and obviously your hot and cold tap. So up is on, down is off. Okay. Okay. And now your stove, you have a sparking system for the burners, manually light for the oven. So the stove, you just turn the light and you click spark. Again, this is the best thing to start when you are camping. Get that gas flowing, get that steady blue flame. Then anything else that you're running on gas should be just fine. All right. So basically you turn to pilot, hold it into a stop, get your lighter, light the back. Once the pilot's lit, you hold that in for about maybe 30 seconds. And when you let it go, the pilot light should stay on. And then you can go ahead and turn it up and start your cooking. Your rack here, you have two levels. It's just the fact of lifting it from the back, sliding it out, and then going down to the bottom shelf, just like that. I know some people get the cooking stones and put it on here. It kind of disperses the heat a lot, more even. But these ovens are pretty reliable, disperse the heat very well, and got enough space in there for maybe a small bird. Underneath, you have a bit of storage in there, a little shelf. Just be mindful what you're putting in the back because there's some plumbing in the back there. It is covered with the foam wrap, but still be careful. You don't need any leaks happening under your sink here. Your stove. Yeah, you've got some great storage underneath there. Again, some more plumbing. All your drawers here. Now, underneath the bottom drawer, your water pump is behind this drawer in the back there. So if you need to access it, you just have to remove the drawer, and the pump is right there for you. This sheet of paper has all your major appliances, make, model, how they run. And I've said that a few times, make and model is really important. So it's all on there, your fridge, your furnace, your stove. That's all you need. It's a good place for it. You can take it off and laminate it, put it in with your manual bags, but very helpful to have this. As I mentioned earlier, this is your range hood. You have your light and your fan. So obviously when you have this on, that vent I showed you outside is what you want to have open when you're cooking. Now, not much to tell you about a microwave except when you're traveling. You want to take that plate out or maybe even wrap it in a towel so that it's not banging around in there. Don't need to have that plate break. And the power for the microwave is just located in the back side of the cabinet there. Now, your unit does have a panel up on the roof. So this controller here is just basically monitoring your battery levels, where they are, how much voltage is coming in. You really won't have to do anything on here. You can refer to the manual so you can play around with it, but this is just to keep an eye on your charge coming into the batteries, and it will shut off once the batteries are full. Okay, so down at the bottom, you have your fuse box and breaker panel. You have a little mixture of fuses there. You have a couple 40s, 120, and mostly 15s, but they're all marked on what they control, as well as the breaker switches on the side here. Most of these panels have a red light that comes on. You have this little tinted glass here that you would know when the fuse is gone. But these are just your standard automotive fuses, so really easy to get. Again, definitely keep extras on hand. Nothing worse to have a fuse pop and you don't have a replacement. But that just clips up there. Down the bottom is a fan, so when you are plugged in, more things you have on, you might hear this fan come on, but really subtle, not too loud to disturb your camping trip. But it's just designed to keep itself cool. Now you have your refrigerator. Again, I said it runs on gas and electricity. Right now I have it in automatic. Because we are plugged in, this will draw off the electricity. If I were to pull the plug out right now, you're going to hear the pilot kicking in, and it switches automatically to gas for you, saving your items in the fridge. You can run strictly gas that way. Now you have this orange light here to let you know that the gas is running on gas, but if it's flashing, then you know it's no gas feeding in. But just, I would say if you're hooked up, leave it on auto. Every once in a while, you do want to run it on gas because one thing that likes to find its way inside the back of the fridge as well, like bugs inside the propane line, and you don't need spiders getting there or anything, making a nest, then it's not going to kick in. So maybe once a month, just run it on gas for a day, just make sure the fridge is getting cold. I would recommend two of this Norco, 3 or 4. And this is a smart zone, so it knows 3 for the fridge, 3 for the freezer. You have a couple of ice trays there. Your shelves are adjustable in the fridge. Just be mindful if the shelves break. You know, you can order them from us, not a problem. But I would recommend maybe getting the whole set. It would save you on freight charges. The shelves in here as well are adjustable. You just have to undo the bracket that's in the back there and position it to wherever you want. And that down there is actual glass, so just be mindful what you're putting in the fridge. You don't want to damage that. Now the neat thing with this fridge, when you are storing it, it has these clips here that you can push out. What it does, it keeps the door open for you, so when you are storing it, you're not coming back to that funky smell in the fridge. And you just have to close it, just like that, and dead center is off. And as you see, the sunshine coming right above your head there. Nice skylight for natural lighting in here. So you have this neat shade that if it's just a little too intense, you can pull it across so you're not working on your tan on your trailer. But really nice and durable. You shouldn't have any problems with that side and shade. Now on this side, your entertainment area. So right now you have your Furrion DVD radio. This pretty much plays every DVD except Blu-ray. The zones I was mentioning, zone 1 and zone 2. So like I said, you can run them both at the same time, or if you just want to have the inside speakers on, you just have to press the 2 disappears, so it's just inside. Or you have your outside speakers playing. So that's your outside speakers. With this radio too is Bluetooth, so you can sync your devices to this, no problem. The Furrions normally have a generic password of 1234 or 4 zeros. I like to say this is like a car stereo on steroids plus the DVD player. When you are watching the movies, the sound comes through the speakers as well as the TV. But if you are watching the TV alone, or if you're an HD antenna, it just comes through the TV itself. Now, with that HD antenna, you can actually scan and get free channels. Obviously, no ESPN and HBO, but you got all your local networks, depending on where you're camping. As you see, the quality on the TV here is crystal clear. And to scan, basically just hit the menu button. You come over to channel. Whoops. Let's do that again. Come over to channel. Come down. Make sure it's on air. Like I mentioned earlier about cable, if you are on cable, you just have to switch it to cable. But you have it on air. You hit auto scan, start scan, and it will go. Typically outside here in Traveland, we get about 18 to 21 channels, depending on the weather. But it scans really fast, probably about 5 minutes, and it will just let you know how many channels it's found. Now, inside this cubby, you have a couple of outlets, the jumper cable for the grounder wire, and on the right, you have your 12-volt outlet. So you could have a small inverter and plug it in there. But just to the right of the coaxial there's a little black button with a green light. When that light is on, your antenna's on. If you hook up the cable, you need to turn that button off so you don't cause any feedback. And as you see on the TV, we've got 17 channels and it's not even halfway yet. So while it's doing that, the antenna knob here, this is basically to rotate the antenna. So if you are getting any pixelation, you have to push up on this and you give it a turn. Just like that. Because if you try to turn, it's not moving. But you have to push and turn. On here, it tells you rotate all the way anti-clockwise for travel. It's the way the antenna is shaped is aerodynamic. So just push and turn until it stops. And you can leave it like that. Honestly, you're probably never going to have to move that. If you're way out in the boonies, maybe. But I would say just leave it in travel position. That way you don't have to worry about it. And that should be almost done. But this TV does have a mount on the back that is removable if you wanted to take it off for any reason. Maybe you got a bigger TV or whatever, but you don't want to exceed. I think this basically is the limits to this size that you can put here. And like I said, when this is done, it's just going to come back on its own. It should be done any second now. While it's doing that, well, we can wait. Should be done. In case the volume comes up. Yeah, so there we go. We got 21 channels, which is not bad for free TV. Yeah. So basically, you're getting your local channels. There might be a couple kids channels, even like the Home Shopping Network, some classic movie channels. So it's enough on a rainy day, and if got kids and no DVDs, you got something to go there. But the quality, like I said, is really impressive. What they're doing now with these trailers, it's like having cable, but crystal clear. Okay. So next here we have your thermostat. Controls the fan, the furnace, and the air conditioner. Now with the Coleman Mach, it's pretty much that is in current off position. All the way to the left. Adjust the temperature is your air conditioner as it kicks in. You have the automatic setting, so whatever temperature you have, it will come on and off accordingly. You can keep it on permanently on the low setting or the high setting. And the second click in is the fan. So that's just basically just blowing air. So obviously there's nothing to control there. And then off, and then furnace. Now all you have to remember is that everything up top is the air conditioner, and all your vents down the bottom is your furnace. Okay, and that is completely off because we do not want the furnace on right now. It's too hot today. Okay, here you have your dinette. Table does fold down. It has a little lip on each side of the seats here with a little bumper that the curved part will sit behind, keeping it into place. You basically pull the two bottom cushions together and drop the backs down, and you have your bed. And again, like I mentioned, you have your storage that goes right back to the wall there on both sides. Definitely recommend probably getting a couple containers to keep in there so you can pull stuff out a lot easier. And just at the bottom of the wall here, there is a receptacle there. So if you need to plug any devices in there, you can. All right. Now, in your bunk area, one tip just to make sure if anyone's on the top, do not pull on this because this is actually kind of the anchor to keep the trimming in. So you don't want to do that. But believe it or not, the capacity on this thing for sleeping is 600 pounds. It's 400 pounds for storage because obviously things will move around. You have an outlet there, and these are just tap lights as well, AC vent, and a little pocket netting on the top and the bottom for whatever have you. That window is an exit window. I'll show you that once we get to the bedroom, how it works. But you have access to the storage area here. You have the same bypass valves that we showed you on the outside. There is a little trap door here to access the back of that fridge that's out there. And then there is like I said, on the wall right here is another access panel, which you get access to the back of the shower taps. Okay. And then your privacy curtains, a little Velcro strap there for you. And in the corner, you have your vanity and sink. A little storage compartment there, another outlet on the side. Towel rack. And then your under storage there. Now, as you see, the plumbing for the back of the outside shower is in there. Again, be mindful what you're putting in these compartments. You don't need to break any water lines in there. Okay. Oh, in the bathroom, another nice skylight in here for you. Light switch for the ceiling there. Fan switches on here for you. Turn it on and you can crank it open. Now, one great thing is that your unit has vent covers. So you can have this, forget about it, leave it open. The rain is not coming inside here. So it's kind of good. It's kind of really neat to have one over the bathroom vent anyway. And you just twist that down. The fan will remain running, circulating air. So again, just kill the switch that way. With your shower wall, as you see, these are the rivets here, but they have it designed this way for ventilation. As you see that the tub and the wall don't connect, but the tub comes up behind the wall a little bit here, so you're not going to worry about water getting down behind. Again, they do that too, so you don't have any mold growing behind here. In your shower, you have one of the better shower heads. This is basically an on and off. So if you are dry camping, you want to conserve water, you can shower up, lather, cut it off, and then rinse yourself off. These are pretty much standard shower heads. There are other ones out there that are even beefier than this, give you different streams, but they're all compatible with this fitting. And you got your diverter here to switch from the tap to the shower, obviously hot and cold taps, and then your rubber stopper in there. Your toilet, which is a real porcelain toilet here. When you are using the toilet, to fill the toilet, you want to go halfway, fill the water to whatever desired level, use the bathroom, and then all the way down to flush. In the hotter months, because there's a ball seal in there which caps off the tank, but I would definitely recommend leaving some water in there, acts as a double seal. Just keep mindful in the summer that water will evaporate. So just definitely keep some water in there. And on the base of this toilet, there's a decal on there letting you know the model, because in the RV world, there are literally over 100 different styles of toilets out there. So definitely make a model of your toilet. And then just down here is an access port to get access to the plumbing. Kind of a little difficult to get to, but yeah, take a picture, see what's in there. Get to know your trailer inside and out. Okay. All right. So behind you there, we have your Jackknife Bed. Sorry. Right here. These cushions are meant to just pop out like that. And then you give this a lift. And it drops down. Easy with just one hand. Note too that there is a little bit of space under there. So if you want to keep some linen or whatever. And your furnace is actually right here, as you see by the vent here, but the actual unit is under there as well. But when closing this, just grab it from the back and push it down just like that. As you see on the lower back end of the dinette there, you have your carbon monoxide and propane detector. That's one of the biggest parasitic drawers in a unit when people store. One good thing, you do have that battery disconnect, because this is wired straight to the battery. So it will beep for 3 reasons. Obviously, carbon monoxide and propane, and as well if your battery levels drop too low, it will start beeping every once, maybe 30 minutes. So don't panic. Check your monitor panel, see where your batteries are at. And if not, then just turn your propane off and air out the trailer. Okay, moving to the back side of the trailer here, or the front side, I should say. You have your bedroom. Again, you have your standard open up on the window there. Here's the emergency exit, the same as what's on that lower bunk. The handle locks into place, but just swing that out. That's normal use. And if you need to use this as an escape, pull the tab, the screen pops out, and you can push this right out. But just like I said, normal use there. Now, one neat thing you have, what I was mentioning earlier about the blinds, outside of the kitchen one, you have these tension blinds. They are on a string system, which is actually anchored on the bottom of the valance here. Recommend traveling with them up because they will rattle. But the one good thing with tension blinds, if they ever get loose, all you have to do is get a Phillips screwdriver and right where the string is connected there, give that a couple of cranks and it'll bring that tension right back for you. And as you see here, you have a nice TV stand already mounted for you. So there's a nice swivel. Again, size of the TV could be depending on your needs. You know, maybe a 40-inch. No 60 in here, but nice space for here for you. Now, this one does not have a locking system built into it, so you might just have to get some Velcro tape or something just to secure it so it's not swinging out when driving. And there's the coax on the power coming in for the TV. And then on this side, unlike the rest of the unit, all three of these lights are just simple fact turning them on by the button here. And your vents on the ceiling, just simple fact of popping them open, and you can spin them to whatever direction you want, depending on how cold you like it. And then you have your cabinet space on the sides here. The top cabinet goes right through to the other side. And below that, in the corner, you have a charging center. So you have another 12-volt charging on the left and 2 USB ports, as well as another outlet there for you. So you can decide whose side that is. And underneath the bed, you have some storage. The bed has the lifts on it, so it will keep it up. If you decide to get a bigger mattress, the struts should support it, but if not, it's a simple fact to just replace it to something a little stronger to support your bed. Now, as you see, that pass-through storage I showed you earlier is connected to the storage under the bed. I would definitely recommend maybe getting some type of partition here, you know, simple plywood to close that in because you might have clothes or whatever stored under here and you don't need that mixing with the tools or whatever supplies you have in that pass-through storage. And a simple fact, just nail it into the front end there, keeping it separate from everything. When you're closing your bed down, just be mindful of your fingers because the struts do kind of snap down a bit. You don't want to smash any fingers and camping trip might end early. But yeah. Okay. And you have another little vent down here for your furnace, hidden behind the curtain, which is your privacy curtain. Also with the Velcro strap, just slide that right over and you'll be golden. Okay. So now you have a smoke detector, just a basic 9-volt battery, just like home. So nothing too fancy there. Just want to keep that checked at all times. And with the AC, the main unit here, even though you have the little small vents on the ceiling, you can vent air out of here as well. I would recommend, like a day like today, the trailer can be baked if you're not in it all day. Open these up, get the air blowing because it's pretty intense. So turn the AC on, cool off your trailer. Once you get it to your nice desired temperature, you can close these and it will push more air out to the smaller vents. Here you have your filters. Simple fact of popping those out, taking that out, clean it, put it back in, and then snap it back into place. Just like that. But nice touch that is right in the center of the unit. I didn't show you this, but yeah, another little cubby. That one comes to about here, right on through. Just be mindful of your cabinets too, because traveling, sometimes things shift. You don't want anything falling out. A good tip are those elastic meshes that were on the wall in the bunks. It could be a good thing you can put in these cabinets, tack them inside the walls, so that way their things are not falling all over the place when you open up the cabinets. All right. So again, that's your Jayco 26BH in a nutshell. Hope you get to really enjoy this trailer. It's been a pleasure showing you the trailer. Any questions, you know where to find us. I'm just not here Sundays and Mondays, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you.